NXP has been packing more and more power and performance into their chips over the last few years, and every time we talk to them, they've come up with something brand new. This time it's the i.MX93W, which packs in application processors, a neural processing unit, and a tri-band radio system for industrial applications. To find out more, I spoke to Kyle Fox. Kyle, it's great to be back here at the NXP stand, Embedded World.
Great to have you.
As every year, you guys are bringing out loads of innovations, and one of the products that caught my eye was the i.MX93W. It's an applications processor. Yeah. Tell us more what that means and what types of applications you can apply it to.
Well, it's not only an application, it's an industry first, and this is actually the application processor itself, the 93W. We tried to find a way to show you the reference of the size, so we chose a number 2 pencil. It's the size of the eraser on the number 2 pencil.
Wow.
So what's packed inside of here and what makes it industry first is this is the first time that high performance compute with agentic AI coupled with tri-radio connectivity has been put into a package this small. Second is that all of the components that normally go around Wi-Fi are inside this package. So literally what customers will need to do is choose, do they want a single antenna or a dual antenna, attach it, and they're ready to go. And what is great and really kind of the icing on the cake about the 93W is we have pre-certified reference designs. They've been certified for 8 different regions around the world, which is standard to do with a transmitter.
Yeah.
So when you think about complexity slows you down. The 93W cuts through that. So what we're hearing from our customers is they just need it to work, and they don't want to spend the 3 to 6 months it takes to certify a new design.
Yep.
What they want to do is spend those 3 to 6 months adding in value-add features that they get paid for. They just want it to work, and that's exactly why the 93W exists.
Yep. Now, looking at the press release, one of the things it highlights is by setting this particular product into your application, you're actually not needing to put in 60 discrete components. What sort of discretes are we talking about?
Well, everything from UDS to the voltage control, there's also the preamps, there's a ton of stuff that goes inside of this that actually makes a wireless transmitter work. And that takes up board real estate. So what our target is, and for your viewers may not know, is that an OSM module, I wish I had one in my hands, it's actually up here on the board here at the NXP booth, is a very, very small standard. It's a very, very small unit. And this allows you to pack all of that capability without having an external module for the wireless control all into one. And that size is what makes the big difference. It allows you to expand your ideas of where you can place agentic AI to control physical AI with all of this wireless capability into some devices that could never be built before this.
Yep. Now the NPU, that's a neural processing unit, that sits alongside the standard application processors that run the code that we normally use to.
Systems, yeah.
Exactly. So what does the NPU add in industrial applications?
Well, no, I'm glad you asked. So there's actually 2 ways to do AI inside of this chip. We have 2 A55 cores. Some people like to have neural nets that are running at FP32. They want to do floating point, they run on the main cores. But the star of the show is the NPU. So the NPU can do both traditional neural nets that we see every day, but it also can run transformer models. And that's really where the magic comes into. So you're able to offload the rest of the processor to do whatever job it needs to, but think about an example where you have a smart air conditioning control, right? That may seem a little mundane, but it's something we use every day. And since energy is kind of the new currency of the world, everybody's worried about it. What we found is that running that data through an agentic AI is very good, as you know, finding patterns that a human can't detect. Our customers have found that actually turning the air off at peak hours, which is the most expensive electricity, for about 30 minutes actually does better at cooling the area because they let physics have the flow of the air push around than just blowing air all the way through. So that's a positive feedback loop in 2 ways. If you and I are trying to air condition our office building or our homes, let's get to that. What we just did is take out 30 minutes of the most expensive electricity that you can possibly have during the day. That's money in our pocket. Okay, yeah. That's one positive influence. The second one is the grid is now not being told I need to bring more energy down so they can sell that out to somebody else.
Yep.
They make more money. It's a positive feedback loop.
Yep.
Second, the second example, you know those little round energy meter dials you see on every building around the world? Used to, all it was how much energy am I pulling in, right?
Yep.
Well, it's so much different nowadays, right? You've got solar, you've got wind, battery power, you've got geothermal, depending on how crazy you get, you go up to nuclear, right? There's all these power sources coming into the building, And what these modules have to be able to do is look at the usage and say, in essence, to the grid, I'm good for 2 hours. I'm going to draw my battery down during the peak hours, and I'm going to fill it back up when electricity is very low cost at night. And so those little energy meters have to be smart, and that's where agentic comes in. It can see patterns that no one else can see. And it has to be localized. It has to be something that runs fast, at low power, in a very, very space-constrained device. Now those two examples, and there's others we can talk about, have one thing in common. You're not running Ethernet cable to it, right? Now, ironically, the 93W can take an Ethernet cable, but the reason why tri-radio makes so much sense is that when you are talking to that device over Wi-Fi, no problem. But if you're a technician that needs to come up to it to do some maintenance on it, you're using Bluetooth. And the killer feature here is 802.15.4. So many devices, sensor-based devices, are transmitting over that, using that protocol. Well, data is the lifeblood of AI. So those energy meters, the air conditioning units, control on an assembly line, they're all getting data from sensors which allow them to do their job better. And that's really unpacking it back to the MPU, because these are not large chat GPT models. As fun as that would be to talk to your air conditioning controller, right? Talk about philosophy. But they're hyper-trained on their data set. And that is exactly what the 93W delivers.
Now, one other critical factor and something that's really been seen everywhere here at Embedded World is cybersecurity. We've got the Cyber Resilience Act kicking in as we're talking at the minute. You're well known for cybersecurity and trusted platforms and things like that. How does that experience and background apply to this device?
No, thanks for asking. I mean, security is a lifeblood. It's in our DNA. And you get some great examples. We were at the very beginning of the CRA spec. We saw its value and we started working on that. You can go to nxp.com/security and see tons of information, including downloading white papers on the i.MX93 on how to actually use that in a CRA environment. So we've been there from the very beginning. We were a trusted partner to navigate those complexities. The second is we actually co-designed some of the post-quantum cryptography specs. That may not be as well known, but we were at the very beginning of that effort so that we can place those into our processors and basically block quantum attacks that are expected to come very shortly.
Exactly. Now, obviously, it's great to have the part, but the next step is obviously getting a board, getting it up and running, and then developing the software. Can you give us sort of an overview of the hardware development environment and also the software tools that you provide to get people started?
No, great question, and we're actually in a great environment to show that, and we may not see everything here, but this is all of our partner boards that we work with. We have a very robust ecosystem with module partners and solution providers that we've been working with for decades. And they are an intricate part of how we get our processors out because they add so much value on top of that to be able to deploy. But you asked about how we actually do that from an environment perspective, right? So one of the great things about the 93W is that there's an i.MX93 in there right now. And this chip holds the world's record for NXP, at least internally, for bring up. It came up in 1 minute.
Wow.
Right? And you should expect that. So what we're finding is we've had a really great run up with the i.MX93 into these space constrained devices. Those customers that are already on 9.3, their software is going to run out of the box, literally, because we actually have the processor inside that. But let's say you and I are building a next generation transformer model to do air conditioning, right? We keep talking about that. Our EIQ toolkit is tailor-made to be able to have the flexibility to bring your and my model down into this chip and either run it on the MPU or run it on the main cores, or both, based on what you and I need. And the great thing about EIQ is that it works with all of the i.MX9s, the 9.5, the 9.52, the 9.37, the 9.43, the list goes on. And it is an environment that is consistent, and that's what our customers want and what they need to be able to get their models down into our silicon.
Well, it's absolutely fascinating talking to you, Kyle. It's
likewise.
Great to see the passion for the part, and I can see why it's so exciting for you guys.
It's exciting for us. This is going to be a great year for NXP and our customers.
I really appreciate the update.
Okay, thank you so much for being here.